The Neumann U87 is arguably the most famous microphone in recording history. But is it really worth $3,750? Today we're going to find out because we're going to put it head-to-head against 4 challengers, all under $1,000, so you can hear the difference yourself and decide if the Neumann U87 is the GOAT or if it's just hype. Let's get into it. You know, one of the reasons why I think the Neumann U87 is so lusted after is because of the story behind the microphone, the legacy. I mean, chances are, if you've listened to 3 records in your lifetime, you've probably heard this microphone. It's been used everywhere, like Norah Jones, Kendrick Lamar, Stevie Wonder, Michael Stipe from REM. Like, it is all over the place. And because of that, people are very interested in this mic. But truth be told, in professional circles, it's equally loved and hated. You heard me correct. For all of the engineers that I've met that love the U87 and make it the centerpiece of their studio, I've probably met just as many critics. In fact, one of the first studios that I worked at, the engineer at that studio said that the U87 is a studio decoration that brings clients through the door. I was talking to an engineer not too long ago, and I guarantee you've heard some of this guy's records, and he said that the U87 makes a wonderful doorstop. Now, my goal here is not to bash the U87. In fact, I am going to keep my opinions of this microphone to myself, at least for the time being. But I do want to break the spell. Like, I don't want you to think about all the people that have used this microphone before, or the Neumann badge, or the price point, or anything like that. Like, I want you to use your ears. I want you to listen to it and see this microphone for what it is, which is an option among many. And at the end of this shootout, if you genuinely prefer the sound of the Neumann, that's awesome. I'm over the moon for you. However, if you do prefer the sound of one of the challengers, then that may save you a few $1,000, and that is definitely worth exploring. All right, let's meet our challengers. Now, the first one we've got is the Warm Audio WA87. This is the Revision 2. Now, the Revision 2 is actually modeled after the vintage style U87. In my experience, vintage U87s are darker, a little bit vibier, lower output, a little bit higher noise. So it's going to be interesting to see the characteristics this takes on. It's loaded with discrete components, including a Cinemag transformer, as it says right on the body of the mic, along with, as it says on the box, Fairchild transistors, which is funny because we will automatically think of the compressor, the Fairchild compressor, that is like $250,000. I'm sure they make great transistors too, but it's just kind of funny, if it's even the same company. These retail for around $799. You can find them on sale for about $699. And it is the heaviest microphone of the bunch by a factor of about 2, and it's also the largest microphone of the bunch. You could assault someone with this. It's like a brick. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum for size and weight, I've got this guy here. This is the Roswell Mini K87. Like here, just for a comparison of size, the can't even fit it in the frame. There we go. The Warm Audio to the Roswell. The Roswell is like 30% smaller and about half the weight. That's really nice, honestly. That's going to fit on just about any microphone stand you've got, and it can fit into tighter spaces. Big win. Now, Roswell is an interesting company. They're doing a few things differently than other manufacturers. So, number one, instead of just importing their finished microphones from a Chinese manufacturer, they're actually hand-selecting their components and building them in California. As far as I know, I don't think anybody's doing that at this price point. Which brings me to the price point. If you go for their base model, it runs about $459 depending on where you are in the world. What do I mean by base model? Do you guys know Dax Shepard, the actor? Stick with me, this is gonna make sense, I promise. You see, Dax Shepard drives this old station wagon from like the 80s or 90s, but he dropped a Corvette engine into his station wagon. Roswell Microphones is essentially doing the microphone equivalent of that, right? So Roswell fundamentally understands the only thing that actually matters with microphones is how it sounds. I mean, after all, no one listens to a record and goes,
God, isn't that microphone pretty?
right? And so here's the thing. If the only thing you care about is the sound of the microphone and not the looks, then they're offering this exact same microphone, all the same components, but in a more mass-produced microphone body. However, if you are somebody that cares about the looks of microphones, they just started making these, which are their custom shop bodies of their microphones. I gotta say, I think it looks great. Well done, Roswell. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you will recognize this. This is the Dachman Audio DA87SE. The SE just means that it doesn't have the polar pattern selector or the low frequency roll off or the pad. It's just plug and play, cardioid only. You get what you get. Now, if you're like me, that is not a deal breaker because I typically use this style microphone in cardioid only anyways. And so if you choose the SE model as opposed to the 87i, you can save a couple $100, which is kind of nice. The SE runs about $500. Now, these are also modeled more so after the vintage style U87, so a little bit darker, a little bit vibier. So it's going to be interesting to see how it stacks up. And last but not least, I've got this. This is the UT Twin 87 from United Studio Technologies. I like what these guys are doing. This is interesting. So instead of, giving you, just a vintage style 87 style mic like the Dachman or the Warm, or just a modern take, they're actually giving you both. So you've got one capsule in here, but two entirely distinct circuits that you can select. You can either do modern or vintage. So versatility is really kind of the name of the game with this guy, which I like that. You can find these for about $6.99, depending on where you live in the world. All right, let's listen to these microphones. We're going to do guitar, we're going to do vocals, and we're going to do a little bit of voiceover, which is the main things that I usually gravitate towards an 87 style microphone for. Now, this is going to be entirely blind. I don't want any imagery to influence what you are hearing. So this is just going to be a blank screen and then microphone A, B, C, D, etc. And then at the end of the comparison, I will reveal what microphone is what. Quick disclaimer. So there was a time where I used to play in bands and I would tour and I would sing in bands and I would play guitar and I would play bass and drums. I even played ukulele and trumpet for a band before, but it's not so much these days. It's the reason why I am on this side of the glass, as they say. So do your best to not listen to my performance, but the performance of the microphones.
Tried to build a house that we could live in, tore it down with promises that I could put out the fire. We are burning houses, all we had, and I refuse to lay into our bed and let it burn us alive. When you were 18, you made me write you songs and sing them to profess our youth. Sleeping in your bed, 2 rooms from where your father slept. What would he have said? When we were kids, you were the sun to which my eyes could not adjust. When we were kids, I was the fountain. You could never drink enough.
All right, you are listening to the sound of my voice into microphone A. I'm about a fist and a thumb away from the microphone capsule, and I'm speaking directly into it with a pop filter. Let's do a quick sibilance test here. So I like to take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. That's right, super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. All right, let's move on. And now you are listening to the sound of my voice on microphone B. How do you like the sound of my voice on microphone B here? Now let's do that same sibilance test. And yes, I am accentuating the S's here. I like to take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. That's right, I like to take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. All right, let's move on to the next mic. And you are listening to the sound of my voice on microphone C. How do you like the sound of microphone C here? This is what it sounds like, same exact distance away. Let's do that same sibilance test here. So I like to take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. Super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. How do you like the sound of this microphone? Microphone C. Let's go ahead and move on. And this is the sound of my voice on microphone D. The question is this a microphone that you have to sell an organ in order to be able to afford? And if so, what organ? Is it just a toe? Or do you have to go full-blown kidney? That's a weird joke for this, but let's do the same sibilance test. I like to take super secret siestas during my Saturday shift. That's right, I take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. All right, let's move on. And how does microphone E sound to your ears? I encourage you not to just think about brighter or darker, but listen to the characteristics of the frequency. Microphones are more than just EQ curves. Is the top end, is it crisp, or does it sizzle out when there's sibilance? I like to take siestas on my Saturday shift. I take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. And think about the mids and the low end. Is it boomy or boxy? How do you like microphone E? And it's super hard to stay professional when it is microphone F because I want to make dumb jokes like we're effing it up. And I did anyways because it's my YouTube channel, not yours. Let's do that same sibilance test. I like to take super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. That's right, super secret siestas on my Saturday shift. How do you like the sound of my voice going through the F microphone? Now, if you like the sound of microphone A, that was the Roswell Mini K87. If you like the sound of microphone B, then you like the United Studio Technologies UT Twin 87 in modern mode. Now, if you preferred the sound of microphone C, that was the Warm Audio WA87 Revision 2. And if you chose microphone D, then I am so sorry for your wallet because that indeed was the Neumann U87Ai. You have expensive taste in microphones, my friend. And if you like the sound of microphone E, then you like the Dachman Audio DA87 SE. And last but not least, if you preferred the sound of microphone F, then you were enjoying the United Studio Technologies UT Twin 87 in vintage mode. How's your wallet doing? Let me know in the comments down below. And did you like one microphone for everything, or did you pick and choose depending on the source? I'm honestly intrigued by this. So listen, if this is the type of thing that you want to see more of, then please consider subscribing. There we go, to the channel. And of course, I do have links to all of the microphones that I've used today in the description below. So if you are considering purchasing any of these microphones, some of those links are affiliate links, which do give me a small kickback. Also, even if you're not buying a microphone, if you just need to buy a mic stand or whatever else it is that you need, just use those links to get to the website, search for what you need, and then whenever you buy that, I get a small kickback for that too. It's a great way to say thank you to the channel if you would like to. And then, of course, I mentioned that I am keeping my opinions of these microphones out of this video because I want you to form your own opinions. Well, next week I will do an opinion video. I'll let you know how I feel about all of these mics. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I'll see you guys in the next one.